Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have a new Arkham game. It's called Batman Arkham Shadow. It's a very small teaser trailer, and it is actually directed at marketing the MetaQuest VR device. In fact, let me show you guys why this is the case. It opens with MetaQuest, and it closes with MetaQuest 3. In between here, they show you very little in terms of what this game could be about. Let's go ahead and play it for posterity's sake. You see a scan of a city, possibly Gotham. This is like what is this building here? The Nikon building or something like that. This says Bank of Gotham, so we get some tropes to Gotham, right? This says Falcone, so this looks like probably some trope to the good old whatever. So this is a Falcone thing, but don't be fooled. MetaQuest pops up. MetaQuest. Okay, there's a pizza shop there. And there's a symbol here. I don't know if it's leaning to some villain or whatnot. This looks like a badge of someone, possibly maybe a possible villain, or maybe like a city worker that's actually gone missing or something. I can turn the audio on in case you want to hear. I just have to unmute. And then there's that mask over there. I guess I don't know what that mask is designed to represent in terms of maybe a possible villain over here. You know, this biohazard mask it could belong to the person whose ID badge we saw there. And then a bunch of these rats with glowy eyes, they come out, Batman puts on smoke bomb, and then he disappears. And then we see Batman Arkham Shadow coming late 2024 exclusively to MetaQuest 3. So this is basically designed to be a platform exclusive overall. Now, the one thing that you guys, in our community here need to let's peel the layers off, because I've seen a lot of Arkham fans. Man, folk aren't happy about this, right? But let's go ahead and peel back the layers. Let's just do that for our own sanity. What this shows is whoever is able to get their hands on this franchise and is competent enough is going to get the bag, or is going to get, what they want out of this, which is the Batman name, basically, representing some game of theirs in a sense, right? Because that's all this is. MetaQuest is like, we need to launch a game, and let's launch a game with a superhero character that we think is going to be appealing. And they hired their studios and they made their game. Warner Brothers, on the other hand, it doesn't necessarily seem like they're very interested in doing anything in regard to this very strong franchise that they have. Instead, what they've made is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, that is supposed to be in the Arkham universe and is not necessarily representative of what Batman can actually do. Gotham Knights, we got to call it its own different game, because it's exactly what it is. It is not a continuation of the Arkham game. It's not in the Arkhamverse. It's its own thing. That's why I give it its own laurels as somebody who's always supported, the game. And I've always talked about it in a positive light, because there are aspects of it that I did like, except the story. And I always said that about the story. Later we discovered, that SBI was involved in the story writing. And I think I've said before that it didn't seem like that story was something that came fully from the team. I think I said it in one of my videos that it seemed like the writing room for Gotham Knights had to basically compete for whose ideas and whose visions were going to basically, win in a sense. But it's a whole different conversation. And so I don't know what necessarily Warner Brothers is doing in its own side in terms of the Arkham fans, but it seemed to have given the Arkham, license for the MetaQuest to basically go ahead and be able to do something like this. And I guess they've done it, from a development perspective, as, someone who's developing his own indie game. Hey, they did the job, bro. It's all up to Warner Brothers and its own studios to either do the job or basically get off the, the track, because they pretty much continue to try with all these different tropes and cannot necessarily, deliver anything that I say fans want in the Arkham side. And so maybe they need to give up and just let other people keep trying until somebody is able to try something that is, more than likely possibly not the MetaQuest 3. And so that's just my take on the issue, because I can't fault, the MetaQuest folk that are trying to get their product out there and, they've paid their licensing fees, because I'm sure that cost an arm and a leg. However, I could say, Warner Brothers, if MetaQuest, came all the way to you guys to say, hey, man, give us the Arkham license so we can sell a full-blown product that we've researched and developed and done this. And we're still pushing, even though the demand for it is not much, but we know we can lean on the Batman game and the Arkham name to do it. How about you, who owns the IP, WB and DC? How about y'all who own the IP? You allow for MetaQuest to come in and pretty much pay for an exclusive, whereas you have the IP sitting under your nose. You have the developers and such. Ladies and gentlemen, I think these are some of the things that actually drove me to make a superhero video game as my genre. I actually wanted to make an RPG fantasy game when I first started, this whole decision of the game I wanted to make. And man, after seeing the way the superheroes have been treated, I was like, man, we need to write our own heroes. We need to write our own comics. We need to write our own, TV shows, and we need to write our own movies and our video games, whatever it is we need to do from the superhero side. We may not be able to write these legacy characters, but, they were written decades ago. I think it's time for us to start creating the next set of superhero characters. Some may kick off immediately at launch, some may not, but we keep creating the heroes, though, to basically pad the lore and create new universes, because, man, it doesn't seem like the big corpos really do care about, their core fans. They're busy wanting to make money and sell products that, honestly, we're not saying they shouldn't do, but at least are they going to consider their own fan bases that really pushed them to where they are? If it wasn't the fans of the Arkham Asylum game, Arkham would be nowhere. If it wasn't fans of Arkham City and Arkham Knight, Arkham would be nowhere. MetaQuest will never dream to use this product to try to promote their own, to use this IP to try to promote their own product, if it wasn't for the fans, right? So maybe they're working on something in the, in the shadows, and we don't know about it, but, this is a very strange thing to show up right after Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Basically did not meet expectations from sales and even from the audiences themselves. But I digress. I just thought I'd just talk about this briefly. To be honest, guys, you've seen lately I've not necessarily been making a lot of these videos, but I knew some of you were going to ask, and Jackspool, I think you already went ahead and asked in one of my comments. And, I said, well, let me go ahead and make the video, but, I got to get back to the lab, folks. You guys know how it is. Some of you who've, basically dabbled into game development, or some of you who've seen the process. It's a very, very interesting enterprise, but I've been blessed to find some really strong people that are really good at what they do. And hopefully we'll be here to show you something pretty soon. And, we can start talking about a game that I think the fans can actually influence how it's built and what direction it's going. It's going to be exciting time soon. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty much soon in another video. Peace out.